Commander Zexthor stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Council's flagship, his three eyes fixed on the small blue planet below. Earth, the newest applicant to the Council, and by far the most peculiar. They cannot possibly succeed, his tactical officer Vril chittered beside him. The gauntlet has broken stronger species than these soft-skinned bipeds. Zexthor's mandibles clicked in agreement. The gauntlet, a series of 5 impossible trials designed to test a species' worthiness for Council membership. In the 7,000 years since its inception, only 12 species had completed it. Most quit after the second trial. Some didn't survive the first. The humans had insisted on attempting it despite repeated warnings. Down on the planet's surface, Captain Sarah Chen wiped sweat from her brow as she stared at the massive obsidian wall before her team. The first trial. Scale the Wall of Despair, a 3-kilometer vertical climb with surfaces that actively repelled climbers. This is insane, Lieutenant Marco Rodriguez muttered, testing his grip on the wall only to have his hand slide off as if coated in oil. Then we'll be insane together, Sarah replied, pulling out a container of chalk dust. Physics says this is impossible. Good thing humans have been doing impossible things since we discovered fire. They tried ropes. The wall rejected them. They tried suction devices. The wall's surface destabilized them. For 3 days they fell, scraped their bodies raw, and kept climbing. On the 4th day, Sarah realized something. The wall didn't reject friction entirely, it redirected it. By moving at specific angles using momentum rather than grip, they could ascend. 27 hours later, bloody and exhausted, all 6 humans reached the top. Zexthor watched in silence as his console lit up with alerts. Impossible, he whispered. The Yorthan used gravitic manipulators. The Krell used their natural adhesion. These humans used determination? Stupidity, Vril corrected. The second trial awaited in the Arctic. Retrieve an artifact from the bottom of a frozen ocean without any breathing apparatus. The water's unique composition destroyed all known technology. Divers had to rely solely on biological capacity. The humans studied the challenge for exactly 4 hours before Dr. James Park stood up. I've got it. We train like free divers. Hold our breath, slow our heart rates, make multiple descent attempts. The record dive is 6 minutes, Sarah said. This requires 12. Then we'll train until our bodies adapt, James replied simply. Humans are good at adapting. For 6 weeks they trained, pushing their bodies to the edge of consciousness, learning to slow their metabolism, teaching themselves to function in hypoxic states. The Council observers were baffled. Most species would have requested technological assistance or declared the trial unfair. The humans just kept training. When they finally descended, Zexthor monitored their vital signs with growing disbelief. Their heart rates had dropped to levels that should have caused unconsciousness. Their oxygen consumption was impossibly low. One by one, they retrieved the artifacts, their bodies pushed to the absolute limit of biological function. They're altering their own physiology through sheer will, Vril breathed. That's not possible. With humans, Zexthor said slowly, I'm beginning to think impossible is just a starting point. The third trial broke most species psychologically. Survive 30 days in complete sensory deprivation. No light, no sound, no touch, no external stimuli of any kind. Isolation madness typically set in within a week. The humans approached it differently. We tell ourselves stories, Sarah explained to the alien observers before entering the chamber. Humans have always done that. In caves, around fires, in the dark. We create meaning where there is none. For 30 days, the 6 humans floated in their isolation chambers. And they did go mad in a sense, but it was a peculiarly human madness. They invented entire worlds in their minds. They composed symphonies. They designed buildings. They calculated mathematical theorems. They turned the void into a canvas. When they emerged, pale and shaken but sane, Zexthor found himself making a gesture his species reserved for profound respect. The 4th trial tested physical endurance. Cross a desert that spanned a continent, carrying double their body weight with minimal water. Most species' bodies simply shut down from the strain. Human bodies shut down too. The difference was that humans kept moving anyway. Sarah's legs gave out on day 12. She crawled. Marco developed heat stroke on day 18. They shaded him and moved during twilight. Dr. Park's feet bled through his boots. He wrapped them in cloth torn from his shirt and continued. Why don't they quit? Vril asked, genuine confusion in his voice. Their bodies are failing. There's no shame in recognizing biological limitations. Zexthor had been studying human history files, because that's not how they're built. Humans survived ice ages with stone tools. They crossed oceans on wooden rafts. They climbed the highest mountains just to see if they could. Quitting isn't in their programming. The humans completed the desert crossing on day 34, carried across the final kilometers by each other when individual strength failed. Now came the fifth trial, the one that had defeated every species who'd made it this far. A test of sacrifice. Each team member must choose to save their companions at cost to themselves. But the trial was designed so that no matter what choice was made, at least one team member would die. It was mathematically certain. The trial tested whether a species would quit rather than lose one of their own. The humans listened to the trial conditions in silence. Then Sarah smiled, a strange, defiant human expression. You designed this thinking we'd quit rather than lose someone. You don't understand humans at all. What do you mean? Zexthor asked, his curiosity overwhelming protocol. We're all going to choose sacrifice, Sarah said simply. Every single one of us. And we'll do it simultaneously, breaking your mathematical certainty. Because the thing about humans? We don't quit. But we also don't leave anyone behind, ever. When the trial began, all 6 humans made the sacrifice choice at once. The system, designed for sequential choices, couldn't process simultaneous total sacrifice. It was a scenario the trial's ancient designers had never considered, a species so stubborn that every member would choose death over abandoning their team. The system crashed. The trial was declared null. The Galactic Council had no choice but to grant humanity membership. They'd effectively beaten all 5 trials. As the human ship prepared to depart Earth for the Council headquarters, Zexthor approached Sarah. I need to understand. Why don't you quit? What drives your species to push beyond every rational limit? Sarah considered the question, then smiled. Because we're human. And humans don't quit. We don't quit on each other. We don't quit on ourselves, and we sure as hell don't quit just because something's impossible. We just keep going. It's not bravery or stupidity. It's just who we are. Zexthor watched the human ship disappear into the stars and felt something he'd never experienced in his 3 centuries of life. Pity for humanity's future enemies. Because now the galaxy would learn what Earth's history had proven again and again. Humans don't quit, and that made them the most terrifying species in the universe.